Hey, y'all.
Hello.
So we are now, a week or so removed from Essen.
We were traveling at this time.
We were, right? We were in the air, something like that, a week ago right now.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
So we're not going to go over a detailed recap of everything because we
did
daily diaries,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We don't need to do that. So if you're curious about the details of everything, go listen to those.
Yep.
But figure we'd touch on the highlights and kind of give some of our big picture top moments.
Yeah. Overview of our favorite moments.
Yeah. All right. So obviously we started off in the Netherlands in Leiden.
Yes, we did. And it was wonderful. And we both wanted to move there. There's so much history there. Being from the States, it's hard to wrap your brain around something that was built in the 1100s, so.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yes.
We stumbled upon the leader of the Pilgrims where he lived and, before they came over on the Mayflower, wow, right?
Yeah.
And it's just on an alley, just
whatever.
Hanging out,
Yep.
whatever. We saw a bunch of history about Rembrandt himself, where his parents are buried.
We saw where he went to school.
Yep. Just the people there were really friendly. The food there was really good. I actually want to make a trip back to Leiden. I mean, obviously hang out with Joris and all that, but I want to go back to Roos, which is our favorite little breakfast place that we went to every day while we were there.
Yeah, I want to go back.
And the architecture, the really, really old cathedrals, just the streets, everything's cobblestone, the canals and the windmills.
It's just beautiful.
Crazy. Yeah, just awesome. So big thank you to Joris and Nora for hosting us and letting us crash their house for a few days and while they were busy working and doing all that.
Yep.
So that was just an amazing experience. Plus, we got to see the Splatter Library.
I know. We slept there.
Right. That's pretty crazy.
It really was.
But then as far as Essen, got to start with the meetup, right?
Yeah, if that's not the highlight of it, then I would want to know what it actually was because it was just incredible. It really was incredible to see all of those people coming to show their support for us.
Just because they wanted to. We didn't have any giveaways. We weren't buying drinks.
Right.
People just wanted to come to be a part of it. And I think that's part of what made it really, really special. And it was about the same size as last year, which thankfully it wasn't bigger because last year, everybody that came by the booth, I was like, hey, are you coming to the meetup? Because I was worried that 6 people would show up. This year, I didn't say anything.
And the couple times I mentioned it to people that were buying T-shirts, they already knew about it and either were going or not.
Right, because I figure we'll limit it to the folks that listen to the show, so that kind of makes the most sense, right?
Yep.
But yeah, it was awesome. The support for the fans that were there, as well as the industry folks that were there, and a lot of which we call friends, both fans-wise as well as industry people. It was special.
Yeah.
Only word I know how to use, right?
There aren't any other words. That's the best way to describe it. But other than the meetup, getting to meet Ian O'Toole.
Right, and him walking up and me having no clue who he was.
Right.
Which was pretty funny seeing as I interviewed the dude. But
it's
sorry about
different.
that, Ian.
And just the first time that we met him, he was like, oh, I have something for you guys.
And he brought it the next day.
Yeah, and it was the original kind of
scribbling
idea of our Lisboa promo.
Right, which he had framed and he signed and everything. So that has a permanent spot here in the studio now, which, we'll always look fondly on.
Yes.
And that was just a cool moment.
It really was.
Not to mention the random encounters with fans of the show on the way home, on the train to Amsterdam.
Right, and the guy that he was like, oh, Edward, Amanda, it's nice to meet you.
Hey, big fan of the show.
Yeah.
And just kept walking.
And then a few days ago on Twitter, he was like, oh, I'm the guy that you saw you on the train. I was wondering what was in all of those bags. And it was
that was kind of surreal.
Yeah, it really was.
But just in general, just random people were walking around Essen. Hey, fan of the show,
Yeah.
or really like what you do, or sitting and talking, or standing and talking, or walking and talking with us. It was awesome. I mean, there's that is the main reason why we want to go to conventions, is to meet and interact with y'all. So check.
Yeah.
So what did you think? I mean, this was your first real major convention.
It was, and it was just like anything else that we've been to, just obviously on a bigger scale. You know, there was more people. There were more people coming up and saying hello. There were more people that said that they liked the show. You know, just different things like that. There was just more, and it was awesome.
So not overwhelming?
It really wasn't. No.
You told me that I had oversold it. Like, oh wow, it's not nearly as big as you made it out. And I was like, wait, really? You're the only person in the world that would say that.
Yeah, well, just the way you talked it up. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. Like, I don't know. I was just expecting like 15 football stadiums bigger than it was, I guess. I don't know. Just the way you talked, it was going to be.
So I did an excellent job then of preparing you so that you weren't overwhelmed.
Yeah, pretty much.
But at the same time, was it a letdown?
No. It wasn't a letdown because it was still, I mean, it's still huge, but it's just not as big as you made it out to be.
Okay. All right. Well, I disagree, but hey, it worked. So whatever,
Doesn't
right?
matter.
Let's see what else. Seeing the banner on the booth and having that in a booth, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and just anytime I would sit in there, like punching games, you know, or whatever, and people would come by and wave, or they would look in and then see that there was a person and jump back, and
like I'm trying to look what's in. Oh, person.
Yeah, person, scram, run.
And then there were times random, like Jeroen would come by, or
and just wave. And at one point, Rodney Smith came up and did a whole entire
like pantomime
thing, like
theater.
Yeah, he was going downstairs and he was getting pulled from one side to the other, and it was just really funny. And then he just left, like, okay, bye, and then left. I was like, okay,
all right, cool, later.
It was so funny.
But yeah, seeing Jeroen just come up and tap on the window and wave.
Yep.
Scott Morris took a picture, like, you know, of me, like in a cage, and it was just fun. It was cool having the window. So I'm curious, if we are fortunate enough to do that again, did you like the idea of the window, or did you not?
No, I think it was fun. Like Tiffany, the one tar, came by with Steve one of the first days, and she was like, she just knocked. She goes, "How much do you hate this?" And I was like, well, kind of. But it still, you know, it still was a nice place to get away from people. And, you know, if you didn't want to look at anybody, just sit with your back toward the window. I mean, it wasn't a big deal.
At least my impression, and again, I was in it, so I can't really say if anybody actually saw it this way, but like having Matt Gertz in there and he and I sitting having a short little con interview, or Sophia Wagner, designer Honoria, or having Mark Garrett's in there. And while I was interviewing him, in theory, the whole idea of this is so people could watch and be able to see how all this took place. So I don't know if anybody actually did it, because, and this was my mistake, I sat with my back to where I kept watching their eyes, and they would keep going to the window while they were talking and everything. So it was funny. It was cool to see, but I hope that people enjoyed that.
Yeah, let us know. If you're one of the people that walked by and saw us, let us know if you thought it was cool or kind of silly, or
like, okay, whatever, and just moved on. Because, you know, in case we do get the opportunity next year, find out whether or not people are
actually liking it or not.
Yeah, because that's the whole reason. It's not for us to look out. It's for folks to be able to look in the fishbowl type thing. So
exactly.
Anyway, yeah. Let's see what else. Just randomly running into designers, artists, publishers. Just, oh, hey, there's Uwe Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Vlada Chvátil.
Yeah.
Or just...
It's just weird.
That was just cool, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there goes Martin Wallace just walking by. Okay.
It's just bizarre. And the fact that, well, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay. So, okay, the spectacle of Essen. You've already said that you were like, oh, yeah, it's fine.
It's
whatever.
still a spectacle.
Did you enjoy it, or was it just too much?
It depended on my mood and where I was at mentally, but most of the time it was just kind of crazy. Like walking by the Asmodee booth was insanity.
Booth or booths or halls.
Hall,
Like
yeah.
Asmodee had a presence unlike anything that had ever been seen at Essen before.
It was incredible.
And I mean, that's both. I mean, I see the pros and cons, right? Because wow, look at the size of their presentation, and wow, it really feels like something that, like a monster thing that you would see at like CES or something
that's
like
what
that.
It felt like. Yeah, they constantly had a Twitch stream going,
and they had a massive video board, and it was cool to see. But then again, I love that there at Spiel you had something just ginormous like that, and then you had these little tiny indie booths.
Had Dark Flight.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that they can share the same convention.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, speaking of Dark Flight in Jordan, Hall 7 was where lot of the games that we were interested in were in, as opposed to Hall 1, Hall 3, where Asmodee and the really and where all the big
Mattel and stuff like
big
that were.
Publishers were. Not to say that we weren't interested in that hall, just smaller hall, the indie halls.
The ratio of games that we wanted in Hall 1 and 3 were vastly different than what we wanted in 7.
Right, as an example, or 6, or etc. So yeah, that I found that just a cool thing. Just
interesting.
Yeah, and so there actually were. So let's see, there was Hall 1, 2, and 3. Then Hall 6, 7, and 8. So there were, I guess, technically 6 halls, really. 6 main halls, at least. And I bet you would feel different if it was all in one room.
Absolutely. And I've told you that, and I told Uli as well. Just if it was one massive, humongous space, it would be different. But they're kind of, contained into different halls. So
it didn't feel as big or as intimidating.
Yeah, maybe if it was differently laid out, it might feel different to me. But as it is right now, it wasn't overwhelming.
Okay, cool, good deal. So the food.
Yes, the food.
So next year, I've already made a decision that I'm going to do something. I don't know what. I'm either going to do like a little video snippets or pictures or a Twitter, stream, Twitter thread, whatever, of the food of Spiel.
Yeah.
Because there was everything from, there's currywurst, which is the thing that people most talk about. Then there are the steak sandwiches that we had. There's ice cream cones. There's frozen bananas covered in chocolate.
There's frozen strawberries covered in chocolate. I had a crepe every morning.
Little, like, European churros, I think, is a good way to put it.
It's like a hollow loaf
chimney-looking thing.
Chimney-looking thing that's just, I watched them make it. It's just a very thin piece of bread wrapped around like a cone-shaped thing, and they fry it and then cover it in different things. And the one I got was covered in sugar and cinnamon. And you just unroll it and eat it, and it was incredible.
It was like 2 feet tall. It was ridiculous.
And then they had, I did not have one of these. It was a potato that was spirally cut on a stick. And that was deep
basically
fried.
French fries, but potato. That was pretty cool. But I want to go through and document all this stuff.
Just take pictures of everything.
Right, or like
vlog
try
just
them
that
all.
or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be fun, especially as a foodie. Some of it's fair food.
Oh, absolutely.
Like here in the States, which you would get, like funnel cake type stuff.
Yeah, well, like the potato on a stick is definitely a fair food.
Right, to where you can just walk around with one hand, carry games in the other.
And people work.
Right.
It was really cool to be able to put faces to names of the people that we've talked to so much in Slack and Twitter and stuff.
And it was funny, be like, oh, you're so-and-so. Be like...
And then they would tell you their avatar. And you'd be like,
okay.
That happened a few times.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was fun meeting folks. Again, that's really, the games are great. Obviously, we brought home like 100 of them.
Right.
However, it's still the people that drive the appeal of everything that goes into this hobby. It's all people based. So yeah, people win out even over the food.
Absolutely. Always. Whenever you go in before everybody else can, and then so all you see is vendors. All the lights aren't on, and it's just calm, and then the
Well,
chaos.
calm in
Ish,
quotes,
yeah.
right? It's not with everybody in there calm,
No.
right? Yeah.
And then when the chaos of when the doors open and everybody comes in, and then again later in the day whenever the halls close, and the stillness again of everybody cleaning up, and all you hear is vacuum cleaners and people leaving and stuff, and it just the balance and the difference between the times when it's full and the times when it's not. It's really cool.
It is, and that's some of my favorite times are at the end of a day that you're sitting around the booth, whether it's our booth or the booth we were at, or going by the Capstone booth with Clay and Justin and Alex, and just sitting around okay, we made it through the day. That was cool. That was fun. And just kind of swap stories and just be. But at the same time, half the lights are on and half are off. So it gives this kind of weird atmosphere, but it's very calm. But you look around and there's everybody sitting around their booths a lot of times, just taking a load off and decompressing. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And you walk by and it's like this knowing nod, like, all right, we made it through the night. Made it through the day. Yeah. And it's just, there's just a camaraderie, like an unspoken camaraderie that was just awesome to experience, that we're fortunate because with press passes or exhibitor badges or anything like that we're able to see this stuff and experience that. And that's just, there's just a cool is not the right word, but just a unique atmosphere around it to where everything's calm-ish. And it's just...
Well, it's just like whenever you go to work on a Saturday and there's nobody else there. It's
kind of
everything is familiar. Everything is, you recognize everything, you see everything, but you see it a little bit differently because there's less people. There's not as many lights on.
Or down your street in your neighborhood in the middle of the night, maybe you have the street lights are on, but you can see some of it. It looks the same, but it looks different.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of feel. And it's really, now that I am talking for a living, you would think I would be better with the words, but apparently that doesn't happen like a switch.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It was just, it's something that I wish everybody could experience because I like that feeling and that completely different atmosphere of relax or kind of anticipation and then chaos. And then at the end of it. And it was just cool, man.
One of the coolest things was on Sunday evening when the doors closed and half the lights went off and everybody started screaming and cheering and clapping.
Yeah, like, woo, we survived.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. That was really, really neat.
Yeah, that was, I had forgotten about that from last year. So that was cool to experience as well. Kind of a fist pump.
Yeah,
like,
we did it.
All right, we did it.
Yeah.
And then just absolute chaos everywhere is all these booths just started disappearing. People tearing them down fast. Really, really cool to see both it going up on Wednesday and coming down on Sunday night.
Yep.
So all this said, this was our first major convention together.
Yes.
As well as our first major convention for the show together. So definitely some lessons learned for next year.
There was, yeah. Definitely not take as many bags.
Yeah, Miss Escalator Turtle Girl.
Yeah. Go listen to Day 9, people. I have lots more bruises that have appeared. But yeah, just not as many bags so that we're not laden down getting to the airport and or leave, just anytime we're in an airport, not having 15,000 suitcases with us.
Yeah, I think that was
a mistake.
Untenable.
Yeah.
That would be if we had to do it again. That said, we now have to figure out a better way of shipping things home because 2 of the 3 boxes have arrived. Good to go. No problem. The third one, they don't know where it is. Yeah. We haven't gotten shipping notice. We should hear it. Well, actually, by the time y'all hear this, we should have already gotten a tracking number. And
I hope so, yeah.
I'm really not too worried about it yet.
Yeah.
However, we still got to get the stuff home for next year. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to partner up with one or two people to, entities, whether it's different companies or other reviewers or something like that, to get a palette or something like that, so that things are just a little bit less chaotic and
more streamlined, a little easier.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely go a long way to helping things and lowering our stress load that we had. Okay, great, we got all this stuff. How do we get it home?
Right.
And oh my God, how much was that?
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Also, scheduling better just in general,
Yeah,
right?
just in general. I mean, now that I have a big, huge convention under my belt where we have a lot of interviews, a lot of meetings, I have better knowledge and a little bit more under my belt, knowing how to schedule things and not only having things written down, but having them in Google Calendar or something, because there were times to where you needed to be somewhere, but the coverage is so terrible in the Mesa that I wasn't with you and I couldn't get you where you needed to go. But if you had that appointment in your phone and it showed up, then you would know where to go.
Right. So growing pains, I think, is a good way to express it. But the good news is that even with these growing pains, I would still say overwhelmingly it was a success.
Absolutely.
Both for the show as well as personally. I mean, it was a fun trip, wasn't it?
It was a lot of fun.
Good.
All right, so let's talk about we each have a top 5 of the coolest moments.
I cheat, I have 6.
They may not be in the right, they're not in any particular order or anything. So we'll just trade off. You're first.
Well, okay, let's start with the big
about?
one, the obvious one, the meetup, right? We already kind of talked about that, and just seeing people take time out of their convention instead of playing games. I mean, granted, people got to eat. I get that, and they could have just chosen to eat there. But the fact is, they stayed there. We had drinks. We sat around, just chewing the fat and just being geeks and being gamers and hanging out with one another for hours until exhaustion set in. And yeah, it was just special.
Yeah, it really was. The first one I want to talk about is just walking around Leiden with Joris. Joris has written a book about the history of Leiden.
Well, the history of transportation or in logistics. And wait, Splatter, logistics?
Yeah,
you're kidding me, of Leiden.
So he knows everything about every building and every street. And it was having your own tour guide walking you around a city that you've never seen before.
In the middle of the night. Well, not the middle, but it was late Saturday night or afternoon, evening and night. So it was like from 7 to 9:30 or so. We had just landed, got back. Hey, why don't we? He's like, you want me to take you around, take a short little walk? And I'm like, yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah, 2.5 hours later.
But it was incredible.
It was worth every minute and every step and every ache and pain and everything. It was incredible.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yes.
That was very, very cool. So Wednesday at Spiel, which is setup day, media day, whatever, we're at a booth picking up games that we needed to. And Vital's like, hey, and he comes up to us. That was cool in and of itself.
Yes.
So then we mosey on back to our booth, and we're sitting around talking, and I was like, ooh, wait, hey Vital, would you sign a handful of the promos? And he's like, of course. Just getting me ready for what I'm going to be doing all week. Anyway, I was like, cool. Then after that, we went back out, and we're talking in the center of the booth, and Ian O'Toole comes rolling on up. Hey, Ian. Right, well, obviously I didn't know him, but we're glossing over that fact.
Sure.
Doesn't matter. So then the four of us are just standing around talking. I was like, hey, Ian, since you're here, would you mind signing a couple of these promos for Lisboa? He's like, yeah, sure. And it was just, so here we are in the meeting room, you and me sitting down with Ian O'Toole and Vital Lacerda, just everything talking about non-gay, just life stuff,
like,
whatever.
Hey, where's the ATM? Just random things.
Right, as well as talking shop and talking about upcoming games and, work and meetings that everyone's going to have, whether it's us or any of them individually. And it was just one of those, well, this is just badass.
Yeah.
Right? We got in this hobby because we love things about this hobby, the games, the people. And I mean, people like Ian and Vital are the true stars of this hobby. And so being able to just hang out.
Being able to call them friends is insanity.
Yeah, so having there and watching them sign the promo they made for us. What?
Yeah.
Seriously?
What world is this? And I mean,
that was just cool,
it's
dude.
Just, we don't know. We want to share all of these things with you guys, but we don't want it to come across as bragging because it's not.
No, it's just,
It's
you
the
can
opposite
hear it
of
in my
that.
voice, like, dude, really?
Yeah, it's just shock and awe.
Yeah. So, you know what? Anybody that's looking for issues there, then so be it.
Yeah. You're going to find them no matter what.
Exactly. So, hopefully, the reason we were doing the daily diaries and the reason we're doing stuff like this and just con coverage in general for all the cons that we go to is for those that don't go. It's not neen.
No, it's hey, you get to
live vicariously through us.
You don't get to go, but we do. So here, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's share the experiences so that, hey, okay, that does not sound enjoyable to me, or hey, that sounds like
or
one
I have to go next year.
And so yeah, we're trying to let you guys live through our eyes and our experiences. So hopefully it's coming through like that. And so the hanging out with those two on Wednesday in the booth, it was definitely one of my top moments.
And then later on Wednesday, wasn't it Wednesday that we all piled in the car and drove to?
Actually, it was Tuesday. It was right after we'd gotten to Essen and checked into our flat.
Yep. Piling all in the car and taking a road trip to Iserlohn for a hockey game, which was also insane.
The hockey game was cool. That was an awesome experience. 4,900 and change of our closest friends. But for me specifically, it was the drive to the hockey game. So Chris is driving, and thanks for getting us there and home safely, Chris.
Yes.
Mira's up front, and then it was you and me, Uli, Clay, and Carmen, and just sitting, talking shop.
Yeah.
And that was just cool because, again, yes, we're a part of the industry, but we're still fans of this stuff.
Yeah.
So getting behind the scenes stuff of, issues with trying to get things through customs, or, this game is delayed, or this game's coming out, or I'm excited about this, or whatever.
Right.
And just hearing about all this stuff was just, again, one of those surreal moments. Like, this is just cool, dude.
Like, how is this our life? It's bizarre. And speaking of bizarre, so we are having a lunch meeting with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, Tony Boydell set up a really informal, hey, let's get away from the hustle and bustle and go have lunch.
Yeah.
And it opened it up to basically anybody that wanted to come.
Yeah.
And I said, we have time, so we'll come by. So we went by.
And this gentleman said, "Oh, hello, Edward. Oh, hello, Amanda. It's so nice to meet you. Oh, hi, Alexander Pfister. How do you know who I am? I don't even know who you just."
He listens to the show.
It's just.
So, hi, Alex.
Yeah, hello. It's just. Oh, I don't know, man. It's just weird.
That was cool.
It's so amazing and weird.
Like, I was surprised that he remembered me because we had this short little con interview last year that y'all heard. But the fact that he knew, that kind of blew me away, too. I was like,
he knew who I was.
Wow.
Yeah, just so weird.
But yeah, just cool, man. Okay, another one of those surreal moments, right?
Yeah.
So there's the Heavy Cardboard Dutch Game Day.
Yes. We had just a room full of people in the back of this little game store in Leiden. And bunches of people came from all over the place in the Netherlands.
All over the Netherlands to come play games and hang
say
out.
Hi. And it was just finally getting able to meet Giovanni and meet Marlon and, just meet all of these people.
And Jorvik and Mira and all of these Marcel
people,
and
all of these people that we have talked to for so long on YouTube and Twitter, and Mira and I have talked bullet journaling on Facebook a ton, and just finally getting to meet these people was so special and so, I have chills right now. It was just incredible and awesome.
Yeah, very, very cool, man. My only disappointment on that was the fact that we couldn't go and have dinner together because Marlene had to run to another game day in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
as you do.
Oh, duh. And jet lag had hit me pretty good, and I was falling asleep. So sorry about that. Everybody.
Hold on, pretty good, dude. It took a sledgehammer and knocked you out.
Yeah, sorry.
You were in rough shape.
I was.
The picture that got shared.
I was asleep.
Hysterical.
Sorry. Jet lag.
But the other reason people had to go, right? But the other reason was we had dinner with Joris, and it was cool that it was you, me, Joris, Jeroen, Nora, Bianca, and Ragnar hanging out in the Joris and Nora's kitchen cooking dinner.
Yeah.
Stomp pot.
Yes. Like what?
And just like here I am peeling potatoes, with Joris.
Yeah, because that's not weird.
And just just hanging out in the kitchen like you do with anyone else.
They're just our friends, which I just can't wrap my brain around.
I have no problem wrapping my brain around, but it's still pretty cool.
It's just so.
So
bizarre.
yeah, that was pretty special. But I know this is gonna sound really cheesy, and I know it's whatever, but honestly, the top thing for me above all of these things was just meeting people in general, and people being excited to come meet us, which that is weird to me. That's still
very
surreal.
Weird. Yes.
But just being excited we're as excited to meet y'all as y'all are to meet us, for those that are. I thought it was just cool. Hey, how's Essen? Is this your first time?
Yeah.
And what's it like? Where are you from?
Yeah.
And it was just cool, man. That was far and away, and it almost always is at almost every con, the highlight
it really is
for me. Yeah.
It is for me too, and everybody that knows me knows how shy I am. But meeting listeners makes me not shy, makes me okay, because you guys are family, and I know that I can talk to you guys, and you're not going to be like, she's weird.
Well, no, they will think you're weird.
You'll think I'm weird, but in a cute, nice way.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that was my number one, even though these aren't in order of anything, but yeah.
So Edward's told the story many, many times of last year at Essen. He was bent over his backpack and getting something out of it, and this little man came up and said, "You were responsible for this," and opened his bag up, and it was forged in steel.
Right.
So we're leaving the Mesa one day.
No, it was Friday heading to the meetup.
Oh, okay. And this little man was carrying around a bag, and you ran into him almost with
we're
our
walking,
suitcase.
literally walk. Oh, so there's a mass exodus leaving the hall, and we happen to be walking right next to
the same gentleman. And this year, it was John Company.
Right. So Nuno from Portugal, not Italy.
We got a picture with it, or you got a picture with him.
Because I was excited. I was like, dude, this was one of the highlights of my year last year.
That was serendipitous for sure.
That was.
It was awesome.
That was. What? Like, what are the chances? There was 180,000.
There was 180,000 people there.
Total between all the days, and here we are leaving. And Nuno, how's it going? So yeah, just those kinds of moments that were just cool, dude.
It really was.
And I know I keep saying that, but
it was.
There aren't enough that, like, I guess I could open up a thesaurus and then look at, here, I'll use that. But seriously, it was just. Man, it was fun. It was exhilarating.
So cool.
It was special. So, yeah.
It's really special is the best word for it.
So, Spiel.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
There you go. Or if you follow I Rate Dogs or We Rate Dogs, it's 14 out of 10.
Yes.
Would travel to again.
Yes.
Ultimately, though, yes, it's all about buying games, seeing games, and then playing games after hours. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we didn't even talk about, playing coffee roasters with Rolf and Andre, and just hanging out, punching games while playing this, and being exhausted, but not wanting to go to sleep because you don't want it to end.
Yeah.
And just the whole trip was special and really something that we'll forever remember. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed living the experience with us. And hey, this just in, we're going to keep doing this at every convention we go to. So there you go.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us. Thanks for indulging us.
Yeah.
And also to all our patrons, thanks for helping make it happen.
Yeah. Thank you. All of you.
All right. So We'll catch you all later.
Bye.